Hi everyone, we are going to start a new series today from Johanna Basford's Small Victories. So I'm leaning on the colouring test page from my Johanna Basford weekly planner. I think it'll work, I'm not sure that. It'll definitely work for today's anyway. So that's what I'm doing because we're quite near the front of the book. So I like something underneath the page. So I'm going to come in close to our first picture. Now I've decided to use black widows today. I'm not sure if I've used them in this little book or not. Sorry, I'm just moving myself in my chair and creating a lot of movement. So no, I'm not sure if I've used them in this book, but we're going to have a go. Now I'm going to start with the water, because I want to make sure that my trees and bushes are a significantly different colour. I think that the Black Widow spider set Everglade is quite a good greeny blue. So I'm going to use that a little bit first. I probably, I don't know, I may or may not do the water the same in every picture. We'll see. I haven't decided yet. I'll decide tomorrow. If I do tomorrow's the same as this one, then they'll all have to be the same, won't they? Anyway, I hope everyone's good today. I am. My feet are a bit sore. I'm testing out my new boots again. They're not too sore. They're starting to stretch. I do need to do a proper walk in them really, but I'm not brave enough yet. I'm going to grab next, this is called Aquarius and it's from the Cobra set and it's a more of a blue. Now I'm not sure whether to just put it all over the top. I can't see my screen, there we go, or quite what to do. So I'm going to try putting just a little bit on the edge. Just seeing how it looks. I think because it's so dark, if I put it all over we just won't see the other colour. So I'm wondering whether to just go around the edge with it. I'm just going to sharpen it actually. Where's my sharpener? Over here. I've got a cup of coffee next to me today. Sorry, the page is decided to flick up. It's a bit of a nuisance. I think Small Victories is particularly prone, so I've gone right out the lines there, but never mind, for the page to flick up, and I think that's because of it being such a small book and sort of tightly bound with string. But it, you know, the tight binding is great because it means that the pages won't fall out, but obviously it means that they're a little tight to sort of keep them open. And I could sort of break the spine, but I don't really like doing that. I'm going to put some sort of random lines in my water too. It's not a realistic water look by any stretch of the imagination, but I think it gives some sort of movement. It could put some white in as well. I think I'm going to leave it. Looks a bit like a puddle, but never mind. Now we can do our bushes. I'm thinking this bush here and this bush here, I feel I want to do the same, and I want them more of a mid-green so that they look significantly sort of different to the, it's going to flick, there we go, to the, I could put something on the page, there we go, I like something on it, so it looks significantly different to the water. The grub green is a really good one. The toxic green or the fang green are good as well, but mine are getting really short, so I'm going to use my grub green. Here it is. This is from the Scorpion set. And because we're sort of bushy, we can do a circular colouring movement. It's quite a good movement to use anyway, because it tends to mean that you don't get so many sort of lines in your colouring. But also if you do and you get circles, it works well for the bush. I am going to try and cover most of it. I can't really see. The way the light is falling today, everything I colour just looks shiny, and I can't tell whether it's white or coloured, which isn't a bit annoying. You just move my head. Ah, yeah. Okay. There is a bit of white, but I think it's okay. I'm going to go over these in another colour as well, just for fun. Now, watch me do this before you decide if you want to, because you might not like it. I am going to use... I'm going to use the... I think this is Forest. Yeah. This is Forest from the Cobra set. I'm going to use this to put in the darker bit. And I'm just going to do some sort of circular bits here and there. It's a really different thing to what I've done before. I haven't even practiced this colouring for myself. I just thought it'd be a bit different. And if you don't like it, don't do it. Just, you might think it just looks like a bit of scribble. I might think the same thing when I stop and look at it properly. Let's have a look. Oh, it's not too bad. I'm alright with that. But you decide if you like it or not. You don't have to copy. Right, while we're doing green, should we do these trees? I like quite a piney colour. Let's have a look at what we've got. We've got the opal green, we've got venom. It's quite hard to know exactly what colour to do these sort of pine trees. I want a really dark green. I think that this is the fang green. It's really dark. I had this problem last time I used my Black Widows and I had to go and look it up, and it's quite a small pencil, just in case you hadn't noticed. And I'm going to do the trees that have got the sort of bits marked like Christmas trees. I can't think of a better way to say it. The others are all sort of straight. These two stand out as looking a little bit different, so I'm going to do those in this colour. It's quite good when you're doing a pine type tree, just trying to find a sharp end to my pencil, to make it up and down lines. I know I'm going across at the bottom here, and it looks a bit more like pine needles, but it's very small, so you probably wouldn't really notice. I'm going to use the Irish green from the Scorpion set for the others, and I'm going to keep them all the same, just because they all look the same. Let's put you a bit straighter. Again, up and down movements. Oh, it's a bit light, isn't it? Oh well, we'll have a think. Do them all the same to start with. Yeah, it's a bit too light for my liking, that. But I might actually not do them all the same. I think it's going to look a bit dull. I mean, not dull, I mean boring. Not, it doesn't look dull, it looks bright. I can't speak today. I don't know what I'm talking about. Anyway, let's get this colour down. So that is our Irish green. Oops, just drop it. I am going to sharpen my green grass. Now, I'm worried about this pencil. I'll tell you why. Not in a serious way. But if you look at it, I'm always sharpening off the name already. How am I going to know what it's called when the name is so high up? Yeah, I've changed the design of these pencils. The old design is like this. And although we haven't got the dipped end, which is an advantage of this, the name is at the bottom. This one's got the pencil name at the bottom. The name of the colour, I'd like to have know what colour it is. And knowing what colour it is important, I think. You know, if you're using a swatch chart, I'm just going over a few of these to make them a different colour. If you're using a swatch chart, you want to know which one you're picking up, and it's just nice for me to be able to tell you the name of the colour I'm using. I've got loads of bits everywhere now. I'm just going to get my brush. I think that looks a bit better. They're not all the same. I still think they might be a little bit too light. But I'm gonna, now I've moved my head, I can see that I missed a bit, a lot. not just a bit. Just going back over those. You won't need to do this if you've been neat. It's just me being messy. Right, let's do the tree trunks before I forget. I want a nice dark brown. The huntsman is probably a good option, as good as any. Oops, it is from the spider set. Now if you don't have black widows, obviously you might want to colour along anyway and substitute for other sets. Now I'm tempted to do a comparison chart for black widows, but I only have, I say only, I have 5 out of 7 of the sets, which is lovely. But what it means is that if I was trying to do a comparison chart, I wouldn't really have, can use the dim grey Cobra, all the colours for you. So I suppose it would be useful in terms of this video, but if you were doing other people's videos and they had the whole set, you wouldn't have every one on there. And I can't just sort of make it up because I don't know, you know, I know the colour names of the other sets, but I wouldn't know what they look like. I've seen swatches of them and things in on videos and things, but that's not really going to help me to make an exact match. You'd probably be better off doing it yourself. I'm going to colour all of the rocks in this colour, and then I'm going to take a darker brown and put in some darker areas, because I think this is quite a good light colour. It stands out from the background enough without being too dark. So I'm just putting down a layer. I might return to that colour later. Now I want a darker grey. I'm just looking at what I've got here. I think I may have to use the charcoal. Oops, I'll just show it you completely off camera. There's the Cobra charcoal. Now let's have a think about, it's going to be dark at the base, like that, and then where the plants are, I think. Got a few dots there as if Johanna thought it might be a bit darker just here. But then we've got these bits, so I'm going to do this edge where Johanna's drawn it darker like that. Do you see where she's done those lines? And a bit here where it's overlapping, but also here. And I think that will just help us to see that we've got different edges to our rock formation, cliff, whatever it might be. It's a bit here too. There we go, and it gives a bit of texture to the picture, doesn't it, in the sense that it looks a bit more three-dimensional, which is rather nice. So thank you, Johanna. Now here, this bit is marked as darker. I don't want this front bit as dark as the back, so I'm going to put in a few darker bits, but I'm not layering up as hard, so we shouldn't have such a big difference in colour. If you find that yours is quite dark still and you want it to be a bigger contrast, you can put a little bit of black on here. Don't press too hard though. The black in the spider set, or is it a dim black, or there's even a black in the skin tones. Midnight black? That's what it's called. I can't remember now. There, I am just going to get a black. Let's see what that one in the skin tones is called, just so that you know. You can use any black. Yeah, it's just called Midnight, look. And I just want to put a little bit in here where they're overlapping. I want us to really see that there is some definition in there behind these bushes too, just so that we get a little bit more of the effect of the shadow. And then under the bush at the bottom now, be gentle. This bush is quite pale, it doesn't need a lot of black, but it needs a little bit of shadow, I think, personally. And then a bit at the bottom, just a tad. Nice light layer. All around there. it's quite the wibbly wobbly line. It's quite fun. Okay, now I am sort of contemplating what's going on. Is this the entrance to a cave? I'm thinking yes. So I've got this black in my hand. I'm just going to go over it in a black, and then I'm going to grab my dim grey, go over the top of that, like that. I can see, I just want to, I'm going to use my green grass, and I'm going to just put a little line down here. I might be being a bit fussy, but I haven't actually gone all the way up to the line in some areas. It will not only create a bit of a shadow, but it will just, yeah, finish that off. I've decided that I want to do a bit more work though with the midnight on this. I'm thinking maybe we could make one side look really dark, like that. Just thought that might create a little bit of mystery. Fun. Looks like we're actually going in a bit more 3D maybe. There we go. But maybe, is it the entrance to the tower? But the tower is going to be, trying to move my feet around. I've got my big clompy shoes on. It's quite difficult. So I'm just going to grab my hanky. It's tempting to make the tower grey. You know, the stone's grey, but I think as we've got a nice selection of browns from our dark skin tone set, maybe I'll use brown, and it will warm the whole picture up a little bit, because at the moment it's quite dark, quite cold with our blues and greys and dark greens. So what I'm going to do is start with the leather from the skin tone and go over all the stones, bricks, whatever you call them, just with a layer of this. And that's where I'm going to start. Don't press too hard if you're joining me, because you don't want to burnish it into the paper, because we're going to do other colours on top. This is just a nice warm base colour. I'm trying to get it reasonably even. Now I'm going to use, the next colour in my tin is called olive brown. Bear with me, I need to sharpen it. Can't find my sharpener, it's just right by my hand. So the olive brown I'm going to use to create a little bit of shape and shadow. So along the edge of here, I want to make it a little bit darker and darker there, and then I'm thinking it might be some shadow here and here as well, and under there. There's quite a lot of shadow going on there, isn't there? Right, I'm gonna next do each brick, and it may actually negate what I just did. You know, the effect might be lost, but we'll see. So this is the cinnamon. So we're just going a little bit darker, and for each brick I just want to put a bit of cinnamon where they sort of overlap to create a sort of some shadows between them, but also my husband's talking loudly. He's working from home at the moment because there's been a nasty accident. Fortunately, not too nasty, but on the motorway, so the traffic is so bad he's decided not to try and get to work yet. I'm just working over the lines that we've got here, so he's making some phone, having some phone meetings. It's so loud. Anyway, okay, what I think we need is a bit of darker shading on the shadows. I'm going to use the mud. It's a good name. It's not a good name for a skin tone, and I know some people have complained about the skin tone names, but the Black Widows do have interesting names. and I'm going to use a little bit here. I really want to try and make this look like it's a rounded tower, not just a flat thing. I'm just going to really define that shadow down there. And I think on the edge, let's just keep putting shadow down and under there. Now, to make this look more interesting, colourful perhaps is a better word, I'm going to make the roof of our tower red. So I'm going to start with, we're trying to get hold of the pencil, with a scorpion blood red. Okay, and I'm hoping that once I put this in and put some shadow onto the roof, it might help the tower look a bit more rounded. I think it's probably because it's quite small as well, it's a little bit difficult to get that effect. So I'm trying to just put down a reasonably even colour. I shouldn't do that, I should use my brush. Oops, I can't get hold of anything today. So my fingers aren't cold, it's a really warm day actually. This is burgundy. It's one of those warm rainy days, although I've got my cardigan on, but it's so I'm going to really emphasise the edges with my burgundy. Now Johanna's drawn shadow just on the one side, but I feel like I want to do it on both. We'll see how that works. The red is quite pink, isn't it? I'm just going to keep layering it. And whoops, and going out the lines. You don't have to go out the lines. There we go. Then I'm going to take my red back again, the blood red, and make it a little darker on those edges. Sort of blend in that dark bit a little bit, so we have a lighter part in the centre. I'm going to try and erase that bit where I went really out of the lines, but it probably won't because it's red. Red stains the paper a lot. I was trying to erase something last night that I did very wrong. Let's see if I need to redo it. It was a Chris Cheng video that I was following. I've decided to use the olive brown for the windowsill, and it was a face, not sure when you might see it, from Hannah Carlson. I've never followed a Chris Cheng for Hannah Carlson picture before, and I thought it would be interesting. It might help me get to grips with skin tone. This is mustard. I'm going to use it for the window. And but the little bit under the nose, you know, there's a dip, a sort of almost a little cleft in under the nose, under our nose. I just couldn't get that right. It's just looking very odd. Right, now that is not standing out enough. I'm going to grab a bit of orange. I'm just trying to find one. I think this sunset colour might work from our Cobra set, and put it around the edge of this window so that it stands out a bit more. So quite a heavy bit around the edge, and then try and just fade it in towards the middle so that it just looks more like light rather than brick. I think that's just about there. Stars and moon. I think I'm going to colour them in, and then it's tempting to think about glitter and things like that. Now our moon should be very pale, I think. I tend to do a moon in a pale blue. Don't really have the right one. I'm going to use this greythorn. This is a skin tone, and it's slightly purpley. I rather like the tone, and obviously that doesn't look very shiny, but I rather like that. Now our stars, yeah, I think I'm going to use this nugget. This is from the Cobra. It's very bright, it looks orangey, but it is really sort of goldish. Now feel free, if you would rather, to use some coloured glitter pens for this, but I am actually going to put a see-through glitter pen over the top in a minute, maybe. Do I want glitter? I'm looking at the other pages and I don't know if they call for glitter. This little one up here, I feel needs to be sort of silvery, but I just don't have a silvery colour. All the greys in these sets are brownish. So let's do a goldish tone instead. Actually, we could use the nugget that we used just now. And it would actually help to emphasise that sort of warmer colour that I wanted from our little tower. Okay, so I think I am going to finish there, but if you wish, you could, as I say, use a bit of glitter pen. The Sakura 700 is a good one to just make it shine, but I am just going to grab a white, if I can find one. I've got a stretch, here we go. This is the Jelly Roll 10. I think I need the 8. There's a 5, there's another 5, there's an 8. There we go. I was just thinking about, because this is such a small picture, oops, and I'm going to put a few bits of white on our water just to add an even more sort of movement. And oops, I'm trying to do them horizontally but not succeeding. I don't think we need white anywhere else. I mean, I could try and cover up that mistake, but because the paper isn't white, that's not going to work. But I'm going to leave it there. I think I've fiddled enough. So there's our first little island. I'm hoping this series will run for 6 days, but we'll see how it goes. It depends what else interferes. But for now, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a really super day and happy colouring.